He stared into the camera, smiled, and whispered, "Now I'll be famous." Moments later, he pulled the trigger. This wasn't a horror movie. It wasn't a scene from a crime show. This was real. A 17-year-old teenager from a quiet suburb in Ohio filmed a murder and uploaded it to social media. The footage lasted only 45 seconds, but it spread like wildfire. Millions saw it before it was taken down. This was the case of Ethan Walker, a troubled teen who killed not out of rage or hatred, but for likes, shares, and viral fame. What drove a seemingly average high school junior to cross the darkest line for internet clout? Ethan was born in 2006, raised in a middle-class neighborhood in Dayton, Ohio. By all accounts, he was average, quiet in school, decent grades, and no criminal history. But Ethan had a growing obsession: internet fame. Like many teens, he spent hours on TikTok, YouTube, and Reddit. But unlike most, Ethan wasn't satisfied with watching others go viral. He wanted that spotlight. He tried prank videos, dance trends, and even fake challenge attempts. But nothing caught on. That's when his search history began to change. Ethan started watching videos of real crime, true horror, and infamous criminals. He idolized virality, even if it came from infamy. By early 2023, Ethan's TikTok account, under the handle The Real Reaper 17, began posting cryptic videos, blurry masks, eerie countdowns, and captions like "one shot to fame" and "no turning back." His friends thought he was joking. Teachers noticed he was becoming withdrawn, often drawing disturbing sketches in class. His parents were unaware of his online activities. In private forums, Ethan was asking chilling questions like, "Can you be famous if you kill someone on camera?" Or, "Do people remember killers more than heroes?" These weren't idle thoughts. They were the groundwork of a deadly plan. On March 8, 2024, Ethan invited his classmate and former friend Jason Miller over to his garage to shoot a short film. Jason had no idea what was coming. Hidden cameras were already set up. According to recovered footage, the two were laughing, Ethan holding a prop gun that, in truth, had real bullets. Without warning, Ethan turned serious. He whispered into the camera, "Watch me go viral." Then he raised the gun and shot Jason twice. The video ended with Ethan looking directly into the lens and saying, "I am famous now." Within minutes, he uploaded the video to TikTok, Instagram, and a Telegram group under the caption, "Real pain, real fame." The video was reported thousands of times within the first hour. Police were alerted by classmates, and within 2 hours, SWAT surrounded Ethan's home. He was found in his bedroom, still live streaming, with Jason's blood on his hands. Shockingly calm, he told officers, "I wanted to be remembered. This was the only way." Ethan was arrested without resistance. The footage was removed from most platforms within the day, but not before screenshots and screen recordings circulated on the dark web and fringe communities. Ethan's mugshot, where he's seen smirking, quickly became infamous online. As investigators dug deeper, they found Ethan had planned the murder for months. He kept a journal titled Fame Plan, which contained potential victims, filming angles, and even mock interviews for after the crime. His browser history included search terms like "how to get viral on TikTok through tragedy" and "murderers who got famous." Shockingly, he also had a checklist titled Steps to Legacy, with the final item being "make the kill unforgettable." Ethan had no previous violent record, no abuse, no known trauma. His motive was disturbingly clear. He wanted attention at any cost. Ethan was tried as an adult. In court, he showed no remorse. He even asked the judge, "Can I keep my TikTok handle in prison?" The prosecution presented the video, the journal, and the live footage as proof of premeditated murder. The defense tried to argue diminished mental capacity, citing social media addiction and possible dissociative disorder, but psychiatrists concluded he was mentally competent. The trial lasted 2 weeks. The verdict: guilty of first-degree murder. Ethan was sentenced to life in prison without parole. But what shook the public even more was the courtroom footage. Ethan smiling during sentencing, as if he got what he wanted. In the days after the crime, there was massive public outcry. Debates about social media's influence on youth flooded the news. TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram were heavily criticized for allowing Ethan's account to exist, despite warning signs. Lawmakers proposed the Walker Act, aiming to limit minors' access to violent content and implement better AI monitoring of user posts. Mental health professionals spoke out, warning about fame-at-all-costs syndrome. Schools across the U.S. held emergency assemblies about digital responsibility. Ethan became a modern cautionary tale, a horrific example of when clout becomes deadly. Why did no one see the signs? Could Ethan have been stopped? Was this crime a failure of parenting, schools, or technology? These were the questions people asked, but answers remained elusive. Jason's family, devastated and blindsided, founded a non-profit called Not for Fame, aimed at educating teens about social media obsession and digital mental health. Meanwhile, Ethan's story became the subject of podcasts, documentaries, and crime YouTube channels. Ironically, the very fame he wanted, he got. But it came at the price of a life and the destruction of countless others. Ethan once said, "They'll talk about me forever. Maybe they will, but not as a celebrity, not as an icon, only as a chilling reminder of what happens when the quest for internet fame turns fatal." What do you think? Was justice served? Comment your thoughts below, and don't forget to subscribe to Dark Hour Files for more real stories that are darker than fiction. On March 25, 2021, a live stream began on Instagram. The screen was shaky. Loud music played in the background. Then, a scream. Viewers thought it was a prank. Some even sent laughing emojis. But what unfolded over the next few minutes would become one of the most disturbing cases of social media violence in recent memory. The girl behind the camera? 16-year-old Lila Monroe, a high school junior from New Jersey. Her crime? Stabbing her best friend to death, while her followers watched in real time. Lila wasn't always violent. In fact, many described her as a quiet, artsy girl. But over the past year, she became obsessed with TikTok and Instagram fame. She started copying viral trends, taking part in dangerous challenges, and even posted controversial prank videos. When her follower count didn't grow fast enough, Lila started talking about doing something that no one would forget. Friends dismissed it as a joke, but police later discovered disturbing journals filled with plans, sketches, and quotes like, "No one becomes famous being normal." On the night of the live stream, Lila invited her closest friend, Jasmine, over for what seemed like a sleepover. As they danced and laughed on camera, Lila suddenly pulled a knife from under her pillow. The screen blurred as Jasmine screamed and fell. But instead of stopping, Lila turned the camera back to her own face, smiling. The live stream ran for over 3 minutes before someone reported it. By the time police arrived, Jasmine was dead, and Lila was still recording, whispering, "They'll know me now." The trial was quick and horrifying. Lila's defense team pleaded insanity, citing her detachment from reality due to social media addiction. But prosecutors argued it was premeditated and fame-driven. She was sentenced to 35 years without parole. The video, though quickly removed, had already been screen recorded and circulated on the dark web. Lawmakers even used the case to propose new legislation around live streaming and violent content online. Meanwhile, Jasmine's parents started a foundation to educate teens about online violence and digital obsession. What makes these stories even more terrifying is how ordinary they begin. A normal teen, a phone, a craving for validation. Just like Ethan Walker's case, Lila's story shows us that in the age of likes, followers, and algorithm-driven fame, the lines between performance and reality can shatter, with deadly consequences. These aren't just headlines. These are warnings. Digital attention is a powerful drug, and for some, it's addictive enough to kill for. But Ethan wasn't the only teen drawn into a deadly obsession with fame. Sadly, there's another story, even more shocking, and this one was witnessed by thousands in real time.